Eagle has landed.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast with Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse, and today we are joined by a fellow podcaster, one of the hosts of Hop Nation USA, Steve. Thanks for coming on the show, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Pleasure's all ours, man.
It's overdue, honestly. We've been running your promo for a bit.
Yeah. Now, finally, somebody who skipped that commercial can listen to me for a longer period of time now.
Exactly. Get them hooked. So, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your podcast and what you guys cover?
So, Hop Nation USA is a craft beer centric podcast. We're based out of Pittsburgh, and essentially we've been doing this for about almost 4 years, coming up in March.
Nice.
And we just cover like news, we cover history, we go over beer styles, we review beers every episode, and we also, as best we can, try to talk to like brewers in the area as well as other craft beer personalities across the country now that everybody's on Zoom. So
they're accessible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoom drinking parties have become a big thing.
Yeah.
We've had our fair share.
Now, your co-host, how did you guys all meet? Were you friends beforehand, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so the show actually started with three of us, and it was my current co-host, Adam, and then our other buddy, Sam. And Sam and I had been friends from high school, and we just always had gone out drinking and just going to different bars, going to different breweries. And our other buddy, Adam, was tagging along with us, and it just became a thing where we would all be sitting at a table, and each one of us has a different style of beer that we really appreciate. And that would turn into arguments. And eventually
you're like, we got to record this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much that's what everybody, in their mid 20s to 30s does anymore. It's like, oh, we're arguing about something. Well, let's put it on a podcast. But
and you let the audience sort out who's right.
Yeah, exactly. But it just became a thing where like none of us were too, like, we're not unknowledgeable about beer. We've been drinking it for a long time, and then we were all also home brewers at the time. So we actually had a little knowledge of how to make the styles that we liked. And that's kind of what led into it, because we were just very interested in learning more to also help our home brewing game.
So you got a couple of years of home brewing under your belt too, it sounds like.
Yeah, we were home brewing long before we were podcasting.
Oh, okay. How long have you been home brewing for?
Honestly, we took 2020 off, but I think at this point it might be 6 or 7 years.
Nice.
Oh, wow. You guys are working your way to brewmasters, like, no doubt.
Nope. Nope.
He goes, nope.
Made some vinegar, it sounds like.
No. Our beers are pretty good. It's
nice.
Just that transition from, actually brewing to
hobbyist
to owning a brewery, like that basically is how you ruin your hobby. I've interviewed enough brewers at this point that none of them homebrew anymore. They all have to be beholden to the market. They don't get to brew what they wanted to.
Damn, the magic's gone once you have to pay your bills with it, I guess.
A little bit.
It makes sense. It's common across the board with a lot of things that hobby turns to, actual income.
Yeah.
Becomes too much. Yeah.
I mean, once we get that Spotify deal, we're going to hate podcasting.
Yeah, dude, we're not going to want to do this ever again.
Maybe someday. No, but that's awesome that you guys have been like such a tight knit group with such a similar like interest in hobbies. How has that turned out in terms of like the product you guys have actually created together? Do you have like a favorite that you guys have all kind of come up with or anything memorable?
Are you talking about as far as like what we homebrew?
Yeah, for your homebrewing.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
So yeah, again, so our third buddy Sam wasn't like, he was homebrewing with his own friend because it was just closer for him to homebrew with his other buddy. Mm-hmm. But then my co-host Adam and I got into homebrewing because we were tired of him running his mouth about how good his beers were. Became competitive, but
had to shut him up.
Yeah. But as far as like what we brew, we generally brew what we drink.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty big into stouts. So quite often I'll brew stouts. My co-host Adam is in the Hefeweizens and cream ales. So he likes to brew versions of those. And like he has like a good cream ale recipe. And then every now and then he'll try a different adjunct like coffee or blueberries just to see
Okay.
how it transforms it. Yeah.
You get that sort of solid recipe that works, and that's when you tinker a little bit.
Yeah. I also tend to veer off into doing like crazy stuff as well. So one of the crazier beers that actually turned out really well was a raspberry blueberry Carolina Reaper stout. that we
Really?
did. Yeah.
With the
little bit of
spiciness,
bite.
huh?
Yeah. So the way I did that one was we kind of split the batch up, and the first over kind of base batch was raspberry and blueberries, and then there was one dried Carolina Reaper in it.
Okay.
The second part of the batch we split, and we put a tincture. So if you leave Carolina Reapers or basically any pepper in vodka, it'll take on the properties of that pepper, and then you can just dump in a little liquid. It gives it a little boozy bump too. But yeah, put a tincture of that in, and so like 2 Carolina Reapers, it was almost undrinkable. Like almost. There's a couple of us that could still drink it, but like most people would like turn red, and you just start feeling it in your chest, and yeah.
I mean, yeah, you usually grab a nice cold beer to kind of be refreshing, quench your thirst. Something that hot.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. God. So are you guys doing teamwork on all of your brews, or is it like you're individually doing some and then some you're doing like as a group, or?
So it's more like Adam will come up with his own recipe and I'll come up with my own recipe, but we brew on the same equipment and we brew on the same day. It's just easy. It's just easier to, kind of do 2 at once rather than, like do it over weeks.
An
and
extra
weeks.
set of hands and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, exactly. Having an extra set of hands because there's a lot of cleaning that needs to be done. That's honestly the worst part. And you could probably ask like any top brewer as well, and they'll tell you they hate cleaning.
Yeah.
Sterilizing everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Sterilize everything beforehand, clean everything out afterhand. It's oof.
So how many episodes of the podcast have you guys done?
So officially we'll be up to 184 next. I'm assuming this comes out on next Friday. So yeah, we'll be up to 184 because I think we release episodes the same day you guys do.
Okay.
And then unofficially we have like a lot of side episodes and then like holiday episodes that we just don't count as canon because we usually do something different for our holiday episodes.
Nice. We have a similar style for April Fools and Christmas usually.
Halloween.
Yeah.
And Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually do something different for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So,
What kind of special things do you do for those?
it's honestly changed like most years, but this year we did 12 guests at Christmas. So we brought back 12 guests that we had in the past and just did 15-minute segments with them.
Cool.
And we've also done like just music blocks sometimes where like I've sourced music from artists on Reddit. And it's just like, we'll talk about a beer for like 15 minutes and then we'll just play some, dope tunes that I found.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Reddit's great for that kind of thing, especially the live function. I've seen a lot of musicians pop it up on there, like just sharing their stuff and everything. And everyone's pretty good about, when you reach out to them.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a main source for like brewing information for you? Because I've been getting into brewing mead. And I did one that turned out like super sweet, like a dessert wine. And then the next one I'm working on now is like a mellow mel with like blueberries, raspberries, and vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Reddit. Our mead has kind of been my main go-to for info.
Yeah. No, for us, I think we use, and we don't really use it anymore, but like when we just got started out, we used a website called Brewtoad.
Okay.
And I think they had some mead recipes on there as well, but the website's since gone defunct. So you can go on the American Homebrewers Association website, and they also cover mead as well. And you should be able to find some good tips, like a lot of good basic tips. And you might have to subscribe to actually access forums and stuff. But
I mean, that's the way everyone seems to be doing that, though, is you kind of just, if you want to get into this, you just dive into the internet. And,
yeah, the internet
yourself a couple buckets.
Yeah, the internet's made everything so accessible. And like,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
definitely you can find YouTube videos on making meat and beer. I've watched them. I know they're there.
Dude, you can make a rocket from a video on YouTube, bro. You can make anything.
Just don't ride it.
Don't ride it. Don't be that guy that tried to send himself to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Jesus,
crashed
that
down
dude.
in Vegas. That poor bastard. We called it. We said he was going to kill himself.
Yes, we did. We called that. So do you have any like favorite brewery? I know you said that you're in the Pittsburgh area, right?
Right.
Any local ones around there that we might not have heard of before?
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, especially anymore, every city is becoming pretty hyper local. So I would say the three biggest ones in our city at the moment that people may or may not have heard of are Grist House, Hitchhiker Brewing, and Dancing Gnome.
Okay.
Those are the ones that always seem to garner a lot of attention. Kind of on the come up right now is 4 Points.
Okay.
And then one of my favorites is Abjuration, which I'm actually drinking a beer from right now.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's drinking a triple IPA from them.
Very nice. Is it like hazy or is it looks a little bit?
Well, yeah, it's hazy, but basically when you get into a triple IPA, it's 10.9% ABV.
Okay.
And so what you're doing at that point is you just have so much grain going into it, and you have so much like sugar and other things going into the beer that it's hard to avoid being cloudy.
Even though it's not like the New England style, like hazy.
No, I wouldn't call it that. It's just, once you get into DIPA and TIPA territory, it just becomes impossible to avoid.
I dig it. I mean, some hop stuff can be a bit too much for me, too bitter, but I've been liking some of the more unique hops, like Sabro, I think was one that I had in a beer recently. And I like the flavor on that one.
Yeah, Sabro is a pretty recent strain. I think it came out 2018, 2019. And it's supposed to have like coconut flavors to it. Yeah, it's one of the listed.
And that's kind of what's catching me lately is like, I mean, everything's hazy or everything's like multiple hops or like a triple double IPA. But really, like when I see like a new name of a hop, that's kind of what interests me lately. Is, oh shit, what's that going to taste like? You know?
Yeah.
It's amazing because it's like how they grow weed strains like now with the hops. Like it's just like people are genetically modifying, fucking source choosing, like and just creating like these amazing new flavors with these hops, man. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, hops and wheat are really close together in how they're like produced, and just because they act very similarly, and you like you're saying you can crossbreed them, and the oils you can take the oils out out of the hop cone, very similar to how you would take it out of a weed cone. So,
yeah, I had always heard that they were like essentially cousins or something on the genetic tree. And hell, they both make our intoxicants taste pretty good.
Yep.
It is.
So, which company did you say this one was?
So this is from Abjuration Brewing out of it's out of McKees Rocks, which is slightly outside of Pittsburgh, but I believe it's still within the city limits.
Okay.
One of those type of deals. But they have a pretty decent like program going for being so small. They're one of the smaller breweries in the area, but they're constantly selling out because they're constantly putting out new beers, and just their base recipes are the bases for things like snickerdoodle milkshakes and like peppermint candies and things like, so like they come up with a good base recipe and then they just do variants every month.
Interesting.
And they're just constantly selling out. They put out like a Skittle beer. They put out, I believe they're putting out Green Jolly Rancher this weekend. Yeah.
Not my beer. Not my beer.
I mean, I'll try any can once. But yeah, I don't know. So some of these collaborative things, I saw a Warhead beer recently, and I mean, with the sours, I guess that could work.
Yeah, I believe that's from Artisanal Extreme Brewing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't gotten one of those. I'm not a biggest fan of sour beers, so I don't usually chase those.
That's kind of my go-to. I've like the hazies and sours. I have Gozes are red here.
Yeah,
By the brewery, and I've been sipping on this and digging it. It's kind of got like a wine sort of rosé flavor to it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the brewery that's pretty. We get some of their stuff out here. I like them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm definitely a sucker for can art. I'm not gonna lie. and I've seen a lot of the stuff on their cans that's really been eye catching, and I finally went for one of their aged sours. I'm digging it. You know, it's really hard to find something that I really don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you would like a brewery that I was just talking about, Grist House, out this way. They put out this one that I had last week.
Wow.
That it's called Velvet Vortex, and it was a raspberry strawberry cheesecake sour.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's complex.
It's like so red.
Yeah. That's seriously red, fucking red syrup in that thing, dude.
Yeah, it looks
crazy.
like cool. It looks like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it really does. There's another brewery called Strange Roots, and they literally put out beers that like are kind of called Kool-Aid, but it's like COOL.
Okay.
Yep.
But they do the Concord grape, and they do classic Kool-Aid flavors.
Yeah, dude. Beers like that are always like my starter. And then I go to like a more sessionable beer, man. But like I cannot do like two of those bad boys. All that fucking sweetness just like turns my stomach. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of dessert beers are just exactly that. Like I had one for dessert. Like I'm not trying to get fucked up on them.
Yeah, right. Just looking for the flavor. Yeah, that's how stouts are, man. Like he's a stout guy. I'm not a stout guy, dude. Like I can't do it. They're just like a dessert in a fucking bottle. Just
So
so
a chocolate cake.
thick with 2 C's, bro. It is fucking thick. You know, like just I'm a more light beer guy. You know, the hazies, the fucking IPAs, not triple IPAs. I'm not going mad over here, but
What's the one standard, the Cigar City one that you were telling me about?
Highlight.
No.
Oh yeah, highlight.
It's a common Florida beer. Yeah, I live in Florida, so it's my go-to. It's everywhere.
We just started getting Cigar City, I think, like 2 years ago.
Oh wow, yeah. They got a lot of good brews. They got a new one called like Lowell or something, or High Low.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like a low version of High. They're like standard. I guess everybody's talking about it, but I haven't seen it.
Jump into a beer style that you don't like. I love the Marshall Zukov from Cigar City, which is a Russian Imperial Stout that's like 10% or some shit.
Oh fuck!
Oh, wow.
That's like I'll take a sip of that and be like,
Yeah, it is. That one's not even really sweet though. That one's just really thick and bitter.
oh god, dude, that's my worst nightmare. Opening a beer that I'm not familiar with. I stopped getting stouts years ago because it's like every now and again you just get one like that and it's just so fucking thick and there's no sweetness.
There's some decent standard ones, not like craft or anything, but like Rasputin and Narwhal. I like both of those as like if someone was gonna never tried a stout, I'd be like, all right, to have some of this, you know, to maybe kind of ease your way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that I'd give Rasputin as an easier way in. I'd give Guinness. Guinness is a nice ease in.
I mean, it's a different flavor for sure than Rasputin. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm out here on the West Coast and stuff, so I'm getting all spoiled with a lot of my craft breweries. I guess. Yeah. Would you say that the Pittsburgh area has like a signature style to the beers?
You know, the one beer that gets pushed a lot as like a Pittsburgh signature is a brown ale.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Is that like Yingling, right? Isn't that?
No.
Or no,
No.
that's not a brown ale.
Brown and tan.
Yeah. Yingling would be just a plain lager.
No, I'm thinking Newcastle.
Okay. Yeah, Newcastle Brown. Yeah, that's England, so we don't talk about them.
Gotcha.
It's Top Nation USA on American Slacker. We're not talking about UK beers.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
we're
no,
talking-
true. Very true. Very true.
Keeping this home.
Yeah, but we do. Yeah, brown ale is usually what's pushed as like a Pittsburgh standard, and two of them, Festivus by Full Pint, although Full Pint isn't in business anymore, and the Allegheny City Brewing Company. They do Deutschtown Brown, which is
Okay.
probably like the best brown ale in the city at the moment.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said the one closed? Is that like 2020 like pandemic related? Have you?
No, they were kind of they closed in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, I know all industries have kind of been hit. We've talked to comedians and musicians and everyone this last year is kind of like threw everyone for a loop.
For sure.
Did it hit your area at all in terms of like the brewing companies and stuff?
We keep hearing about how it's so bad for the brewing companies, but there still hasn't been any noticeable closures, and we're still opening new ones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 just opened up in the past couple months, and then we have more slated to open in 2021. So like, I don't see, see it hurting anybody yet. I'm sure it is hurting people because I think a lot of the people that were hurt were the people who are in the service side of it. So anybody who's like tending bar or anybody who works in the kitchen. Staff. Exactly. Those are the people that were hurt the most because a lot of these breweries were able to drop down to just, 2 or 3 people crews to, service online orders. And, that was it. But yeah, I think,
and people are still drinking, I guess, too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
For
more
sure.
than ever. The numbers went up statistically. More people are drinking than ever.
Yeah, people are drinking more than ever, and then the local scene has come and shown out. Especially at least for what I'm seeing from Pittsburgh, everybody is basically switched to drinking local only almost.
Yeah, it's across the board, man. When I lived in New York, everybody drank locally, and down here in Florida, everybody supports the Florida breweries. It's like becoming more of a thing instead of the fucking Budweiser nation that we used to be in America.
Well, it tastes better.
Dude, yeah.
Overall,
I can't drink any of those like standard beers anymore. Like every time somebody I go to somebody's house and they got that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna drink. Like it's just like. I don't know, man. It's just I drink
getting into beer snob territory, Matt.
Well, dude, it's not even like that's. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
No, Matt, don't let him bully you like that.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I'm glad somebody else is here to like corner this guy.
That's not even snobbery because that's like saying, oh, I've been eating McDonald's all my life. Oh, but I'm a snob for eating Five Guys. You're not a snob for eating Five Guys. You just want something that tastes better than cardboard.
Better quality. Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anheuser-Busch can suck it.
Yeah.
I see them. I mean, they're still on the shelves and shit like that, unfortunately.
That's because nobody's buying them.
Yeah.
They're just staying there on the shelves as all the IPAs are getting sold out.
Yeah, it's all shelfy.
No, man, it's just, I don't know. It's just simple. It's like water beer, the complexity, like once you get adapted to like IPAs, if you become like that person that's got the taste for the IPA and shit, the complexity of the flavor, the bitterness, all that, when it's not there and beer is just alcohol and water, it's like just terrible, dude. It's not enjoyable at all.
Yeah. And with those like big macro companies, the thing is those recipes are so stripped down because they have to be the same across the board, across the country. Like if you have an Duration IPA in Pittsburgh, it's not going to taste the same as something you get from Florida or something you get from California. But like Bud Light has to be the same in all 3 of those states or else somebody's going to have a conniption,
It's the Applebee's effect.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. Applebee's gets all of their desserts shipped in on a truck and they come pre-made and they all have to taste the same from the same kitchen.
It's because you're eating good in the neighborhood,
Oh, God. Don't you give an advertisement here.
Yo, you know they're sponsoring us now?
God. I didn't sign that deal.
But no, I mean, there's tons of fucking good craft breweries and people seem to be fucking going for it over this larger shit. And I think overall it's a good thing. You're seeing more of that small business kind of mindset, I guess, where it's not, okay, push it across. How big can we get? It's more like, oh, what kind of cool things can we add to our normal thing that we know everyone loves? They're kind of, it seems like they're focusing on the right things to make the customers happy rather than how do we expand and become Anheuser-Busch or something,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the new trend, like I mentioned earlier, is hyper localization. And we're to the point now where you're seeing breweries open just in every town so that every town has a brewery. And a lot of these breweries that open up, you already know the owners, people who are working there. So you're just going in to see your friends. And this is dating all the way back to like pre-prohibition, the 1700s, the 1800s. You had breweries in every town, because you couldn't travel. You couldn't make it. You couldn't go downtown for a drink or anything. You were stuck in your little village, so somebody needed to make the beer.
Yep.
So we're kind of going back to that in a way where everybody is getting their own local tavern, and you get its own unique tastes rather than Miller and Bud.
Mm-hmm. And these like at least before 2020, they seemed like they were moving towards these very, very social environments where, you got cornhole, you got like all these little games that you could play, like kind of as you're drinking, socializing, doing those things. It would be nice to get back to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future, we see that kind of happening again.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get back there. It's just, a lot of people are missing that for sure, especially because there are a lot of good outdoor venues in Pittsburgh as well. At least, Grist House has nice fire pits. There's places up north, like they have just giant open fields that you can go hang out in.
Cool.
So there's a lot of that outdoor socialization as well. So you're not just crammed up in a smoky shit ass bar.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's part of the appeal of bringing everyone in, because these places are becoming so much more than just, a place to grab a bite to eat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get back to it eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Can't wait, man. I'm sick of not being able to just randomly go out, get drinks, and people watch and enjoy the environment.
We'll see. I'm kicking myself because I feel like I should have done more of that beforehand. Like, no, I mean,
yeah, dude. Right?
Always,
you never knew it was going away.
Hindsight's 2020, right? It's like
you never knew it was going away.
It's like it'll be there.
Took it all for granted.
Yeah, right.
You're trying to pace yourself, man, but you didn't know it was a rocket race.
Yeah, apparently, it's a fucking sprint, not a marathon. No, I mean, it's cool that you guys, dive into it so much. The fact that you get to talk to these people who, dedicate their lives to creating these concoctions,
Mm-hmm.
Is there any that stick in your mind as like an interview that you really remember or had fun doing?
I mean, pretty much every brewery we interview is like, it's a good conversation. And like you're saying, like these guys are so dedicated to beer that they know way more than we do. They are far, far, far beyond what we're capable of. So it's always nice to learn something from them. But also, like when you talk to them, you get to find out what else they like other than beer. So like the guys at Abjuration, like they're way into Star Wars. They're a little nerdy. There's another brewery we've talked to in the past, Couch, and like those guys all had like a friendship before they were a brewery, and they were working at like a TV station in Johnstown, PA.
Oh, wow.
Which is like, yeah. And like, you find guys who like they were serving in the military, and you find guys who have like all these different backgrounds that bring them into, but brewing started as a hobby for them. And then eventually it just became like, well, I would rather do this as a job than whatever my boring job is right now.
Do you notice that as a pattern that people
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
just take off into the beer world, forsaking the corporate world or whatever it may be?
Forsaking the corporate world. A lot of the times I find that, especially if there's a brewery that has like two brewers in it, there's one person who's like the kind of artsy creative, and then there's another person who has a lot of science or engineering background.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of fucking engineers that quit their stupid engineering job to become a brewer.
Why build bridges when you can make brews, bro? Come on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of science and mathematics behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much chemistry in it. And people are just like, yeah, I don't want to sit in CAD all day.
Deteriorating your eyes staring into a computer screen.
Yeah.
Hey, more fucking power to them. That's a big jump to make. And I know that restaurants face an uphill battle when they open. I'd imagine it's like a steep climb for breweries as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of capital that has to go into a brewery. And I think, but just kind of the difference I find between restaurants and breweries is restaurants always seems like somebody who just wants, unless there's an actual chef involved, unless Gordon Ramsay is opening his own restaurant.
Right.
A lot of times it just kind of seems like somebody who has money. And they're just like, I can hire the staff and then we'll, hire a chef and we'll do that.
Yeah, they hire a chef to create their menu and all that shit. It's not even their own product, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it happens. It also happens in brewing as well. Like somebody just has money and they want to start a brewery, so they hire somebody. But more often than not, it seems more like somebody has a dream of being a brewer, has a background in brewing. There's somebody who's actually really passionate behind it. Like two of the breweries, one that just opened, Old Thunder Bay, and another one that's opening soon, Necromancer, in the Pittsburgh area. Both of them have brewers who were already working as brewers in different places. Now they just wanted to expand themselves and become the head brewer of their own brewery, rather than, just kind of not necessarily live in the shadow, but now they get to show off all of their recipes rather than do somebody else's dream.
That's almost like going under a chef and then sort of popping off and starting your own place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Getting that hands-on experience, which I'm sure is completely necessary in a field like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's so much you can't learn from a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus it's better to learn with somebody else's money at stake than yours too.
Yeah.
So not for nothing.
What are they, like those huge, like 100-gallon vats? I'm sure they're even bigger. What could those cost? Those have to be like
stainless steel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Like, yeah, so there was a brewery that was opened under that model of guys just had money, and they bought this 15-barrel system. And I believe like the owners just quit out on it. They're just like, we don't want to do this anymore. And I believe the entire thing is selling for $1.3 million. If it hasn't already sold. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
and it's like just throw money at something and then lose interest after a couple of months. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like the brewery isn't even nearly as big as like anything like Dogfish Head or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a medium-sized brewery in, Pittsburgh. So yeah.
Is the equipment state of the art? Like, is that like top notch? I mean, like, or is it getting higher than that? I mean,
yeah, it's like the equipment's all top notch. It has like, the brewery has like a kitchen. It has a basement for cellaring and storage. It also has a bowling alley on top.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's see, there's the activity, baby. There's the activity.
It's a really cool fucking space.
That's
and
awesome.
It was just mismanaged.
That's
and like the owners didn't care.
That's a lot of fucking money down the drain, man.
Yeah, right.
On to the next fucking business.
They had more than enough though.
You have to care when you're doing something like that, because like you have to leave these things to ferment for like months at a time. So like if you have the like attention span of a goldfish,
good luck.
It's not gonna be brewing's not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on like and that's the other thing is like it's an investment ahead of time, because like you don't have a product right away. You need that month of whether it be just fermentation or secondary fermentation. It all depends on what beer you're making, obviously. Right. But yeah, you don't have something right away. You can't just whip it up. So you either need to have it beforehand and convince somebody to give you money, or
just get them drunk first.
Yeah, or get that experience under your belt, and then you're a proven entity that way.
Now, as like a non-brewer, what's the smallest window of time to like? What kind of brew is the smallest window of time to actually let it ferment?
So usually it'll have alcohol in it, and I would say be somewhat drinkable within 2 weeks.
Oh wow, that's way shorter than I thought. Okay.
Yeah,
is there any brews that are a shorter brew cycle? I mean, like realistically, like than others?
Yeah.
Or are they all the same? Like you just let them rest.
No, it all depends on like the beer you're making. So the most obvious split is between ales and lagers. And ales are fermented with a top fermenting yeast, and the top fermenting yeast acts quicker and it acts at a higher temperature. So ale yeast acts about around room temperature, 65 to 72 degrees. Lager yeast has to be colder, but because it's colder, it takes longer. So lagers actually will take a month or two, as compared to an ale yeast is usually 2 weeks, and more commonly a month.
Okay, that applies to IPAs as well, like all ales.
Yeah, all ales. Yeah. So you mentioned Yingling before. Yingling's a lager, so that takes that should take a month or two. But like you can get IPAs, Gozas, like you're drinking, Jesse.
Yep.
that'll come up within a month. That's an ale.
Okay.
Yeah. Any IPAs, an ale, obviously.
And then if you do like the mead or wine, like I'm doing, those go for longer. The beer seems to be the shortest. Fermentation cycle.
Okay.
And I think cider is somewhat comparable. I think that's in between beer and mead.
Okay.
I don't think it takes too long to ferment a cider.
See, I don't have a press. I thought about it, but I don't got an apple press, and California apples suck.
Yeah. You grew up in New York.
Coming from Matt and I lived in the Northeast in New York, where we grew up.
Apples are game, boy.
Yeah, seriously.
Got real apples up there.
Out here, it's a joke. You ever leave an apple tree in the sun?
Apple whiskey, apple vodka. We put apples in everything, dude. Apple mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm not that far away from Apple game.
Yep.
Yeah, no. God. Yeah, no, it's cool to see this brewing. I've never really actually stepped into the brewing game myself. I've only watched him do his thing, and I actually have one of his meads put away for a day that I'm willing to take that journey. You know, I've never had a mead either.
It'll age and be better.
Dude, I'm so curious to try it. Yeah, I'm curious to try. I might eventually get into the trying to make an IPA myself, man. Just out of the curiosity of watching it grow like a baby.
Or where would you suggest someone like him start out, I guess, if they're interested?
Not Mr. Beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those little kits you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Beer fucking sucks.
Yeah. That's what usually people chuck those things, man.
Yeah.
That's the holiday gift right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have a friend, who's already brewing, then I would suggest like going on northernbrewer.com. Believe that's the site. They can sell you a basic kit. You can also just watch some YouTube videos on how to make a small 1 gallon batch on your stove.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And you can, if you can find a homebrew supplier, they would also set you up pretty quickly. But maybe watch like a YouTube video on how to do like a 1 gallon batch. And then you can go into the homebrew store and not kind of get taken. Because obviously they're going to try to sell you everything.
Everything in the mood. I remember, dude.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he went to one in the beginning, and they were trying to sell him like fucking every big bucket and whatnot. And I'm like, okay.
They're like, I guess that's this 10 gallon vat. Actually,
yeah,
you're going to need this big bad boy. It's only $40,000. But yeah, no, it's a little intimidating. I guess that's why I haven't really tried it yet. You know, I've kind of just been living off his doings, but it's really interesting, man. And it just seems like something that you could do that's just like it's something you can be passionate about on the side. That's really enjoyable. I mean, I'm drinking this beer every day anyway. You know, why not fucking make it myself?
Yeah, and like functionally, like brewing beer like is no different than if you have like basic cooking skills, basic tea making and coffee making skills.
Yeah,
if you can do all those, you can make beer. Like
I'm the head chef in this household, baby.
Yeah, don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, no, I love cooking, so it's not that far of a jump, but it is the anxiety of like learning a new thing and you could fuck it up. But I guess 1 gallon would be the best way, dude. Like that's I thought you had to make like 5-10 gallons at a time. I'm like, the first couple
you
are
can
gonna
do
suck.
1 gallon. Yeah.
That's
honestly, it's so hard to fuck up beer. The only way you can make your beer undrinkable is if it gets infected from not sanitizing, and that's it.
Okay.
Otherwise,
really hot peppers. That too.
No, that's no. I still drink that. That's fine.
That's on purpose.
Yeah, it's just
to ward off all the fucking posers, dude. That's how you make a beer. It's like nobody's gonna drink my stash.
Yeah, it's just people being babies. That's not undrinkable.
I have a brew. It's a beer called Brutality from a San Jose brewery, and I think it has Carolina Reapers as well. But I've been too pussy to open it. I was saving it for like a punishment on the podcast or something. But now you're making me think I should just man up and do it.
Do it right now, dude. Stop being a bitch.
Oh, is that what's happening?
I think he just called
I
you
triple dog dare you, dude.
All right, I'll be right back.
Oh my god, he's gonna do it. I was just bullshitting, and he's actually going to get the beer. This is gonna be an amazing time on American Slacker today.
Oh, he might.
We're gonna watch him die.
I'm looking up the beer now, and
boy,
Carolina Reaper triple IPA.
Is it rough? Has it got a good heat level?
I have no idea. I've never had it. Like I have had beers in the past. Matt, you might be able to get this one. It's from Highwire Brewing in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a beer. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking at. The triple IPA.
Yep. Brutality.
God.
Yeah. Highwire
The
puts out.
label alone, dude. It says Satan on it.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Oh,
All right.
But
do it. Chug it too. Don't be a bitch.
I'm not gonna fucking chug it.
Yeah, don't chug it. Savor it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta taste this sucker.
No, I
Yeah,
want
savor it.
It's been a long time coming.
Hold it in your mouth for a bit.
Yeah, switch that around.
It
That's
should have
actually
been
a better idea.
Okay, we're close to the end of the show, so I'm doing this at the right time. Okay, that smells like pepper.
Fire. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
smells like a fermented like Philly cheesesteak.
Oh God, that's so gross. Philly cheesesteak beer needs to be made. Yes, please. You can get it with or without the onions.
Oh God. Whoa. It tasted like a shot when I took it.
I think you need to
That's-
take another one to really get a good feel for it, though.
I think I'm gonna fucking vomit if I take another one.
What's the ABV on that? Because it's
Um,
got to also be like 9 or 10 if it's a triple IPA.
9. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's the alcohol.
Yeah. That's what I was
9%.
saying. Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. You know, it's not super, super hot. It's just got like a overall warmth to it, kind of.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, the flavor's not fantastic.
Mm.
Oh, dude.
Never would
very-
expect that.
It's a little
Is it like
smoky.
burnt peppery? Like
It almost chemically, almost like.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
that's what you remember when that root beer kick went through, where everybody had the hard root beers.
Yeah, those weren't terrible.
Dude, to me, those tasted chemically to me. I don't know why. The Coney
Yeah.
Island ones, I was like, this tastes like chemical. I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely were. Like they had a chemicalness to them, but they weren't like
They weren't
They weren't
horrible,
the
no.
worst. They weren't the worst.
That feels like I'm drinking hot sauce.
Oh God. No,
So
thank you.
I'll show you guys the label for the hottest beer and we featured it on the show.
You tried it?
Yeah, we featured it on the show a couple. It was like episode 81 for anybody who wants to go back to that.
Nice.
But this beer from Elevator Brewing Company in Ohio.
Ghost Scorpion.
It was exactly. It was made with ghost peppers and scorpion peppers. And when you poured it out, it looked like there was a film of mace across the top of it because it was terrible.
Just
Like-
floating pieces of like pepper chunks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need a
And-
beer that makes me cry when I open it.
I don't know if you can read the label, but it says it equaled up to 1 million Scoville heat units.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking hot. If you watch
For
Hot
anybody
Ones,
who's
it's
watched
pretty
Hot,
fucking
yeah, exactly.
It says it was originally created as a joke. No.
It was a terrible, terrible joke.
A
But
prank gone
that-
wrong.
Whoever was on
That
the bad
one
end
was-
of that got fucking burnt.
Well, there was me, my co-host, and our other guest host.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah, we all got fucking burnt by that one, and
Dude.
like it was only 5% alcohol too. So
Yeah.
Oh, barely.
yeah, all they were doing was looking to just burn people's tongues off. It was disgusting.
It's like that death chip thing, you know?
Yep.
Mhm, yeah.
Pacquiao. Yeah.
Not enjoyable.
Jesus, man. That's way too hot for me.
What's the wildest beer would you say that you've had? Is it like a hot one like that, or just is there something you never expected that you've tried, or
Chili dog
Yeah, I mean-
lager. Come on, guys. I'm trying to start something cool here. I mean, I don't brew, but I mean, I feel like I'm onto something.
Philly cheesesteak lager, yeah,
There you
that
go.
could be a possibility.
With or without the onion.
Nah, honestly, at this point, there's nothing that like really surprises me because just like so many shit gets so weird. There's a brewery, there's a brewery in Texas right now called Martin House Brewing, and we make fun of them a lot on the show because every month they come out with something crazier. So
Okay.
like they've done a flaming hot Cheeto beer. They've
Oh, God. Somehow your fingers still get orange. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
somehow if you put your fingers in it, because it was bright orange, like it was insane what the color was on this. They did a buffalo wing sauce. They most recently they did for Christmas. You know those little Debbie's Christmas tree cakes.
oh yeah,
Oh God.
Yeah, they made a beer out of those.
Was it a stout?
No, I don't think so.
Like oh wow, a light beer.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
they're mostly known for their sours. So like that flaming
I
hot
see a
Cheeto
sour
beer was a
pickle
sour.
beer.
Yeah, that
By
sour
that.
pickle beer.
Pickle beer.
Yep.
Sour pickle beer.
Ooh,
Yeah,
By
that's
the
one of the
same
most
by the same people.
common
it's like
ones.
pickleback shocks, man. I could never do those either. Oh,
Pickle
Well,
beers are
I hate pickles in general, so I I have issues with anything pickle related.
pickle beers are pretty popular in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah. There's a whole there's a whole pickle culture out here in Pittsburgh to the point like we have a little festival called Picklesburg, and like just they shut down like the Roberto Clemente Bridge, and people will like just set up vendors, and so they're selling pickle everything. So you can find pickle beer. There's pickle whiskey from the one whiskey company out this way. They put in like dill and cucumbers into their. I believe it's a silver whiskey, but it might also just be a vodka.
Huh.
yeah. I've heard of cucumber vodka before. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like the water, man. Cucumber water. You know, it's tasty. The vodka. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and then you add the dill to get the
Oh,
little
dude.
bit of a little bit of herbal kick to it.
Get that herb. Yeah.
So I have to ask, is there any science that you can tell behind how these breweries pick their names? Because they're just all over the place when it comes to, naming the actual brewery itself.
No, there's no science to it at all. People are like
Just cool words.
just cool words. The most common one is like if you find a dog, pretty much I think every state has at least 2 breweries with a dog either in the logo or in the name. People love their dogs.
Yep.
Yeah. And just like you'll find a couple ones that are named after the state. Like we have Penn Brewery out this way. Yeah, there's no real science to it at all.
Okay.
Whatever
was
catches the people.
Yeah, really.
So some of them, and again, this is back to like the less scrupulous breweries, the ones that are just built by people with money.
Mhm.
It'll just be a marketing campaign, They'll just bring in a marketing company to name it for them.
Yeah. Do a bunch of
Yeah.
brand research.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that logo going. Yeah.
They're like,
There's-
yeah.
they really responded well to Oculum.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
The fuck
we did a
is
group
that?
testing.
Yeah, we did a focus test. There's a
God. Yeah.
there's a brewery that we were talking about recently because one of the brewery owners has been arrested for murder.
oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's one way to get it fucking publicity.
Yeah. I believe it's called Nine Band, and it's named after the 9-band armadillo in Texas.
Okay.
But just reading into this brewery, like all of their beer names were focus group market tested, and like you can just read the names of the beers, and it's just like 2 words, and then a beer name. It's so like lazy, and I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't surprising. So the murder was tied to a Ponzi scheme that was being run by the same guy, and eventually he just
Their
needed-
website's currently not available.
Yeah, you can't find their
Interesting.
stuff that way. Yeah, that's all shut down.
Wow.
You gotta go on there untapped. But so all the beer names were like Cactus Cat Kolsch, Badge Honey Blonde,
Yep.
Ghost Cow Stout. It's
Oh,
nothing-
Patch me if you can.
exactly. So
It's all puns.
Yeah, it's all puns.
Fucking puns.
But that was all tied to the guy was running a Ponzi scheme, and then it just seemed like he started running out of money. So like his big investor, he staged a suicide.
Damn.
Allegedly. He staged a suicide and then like left a suicide note that said to tell his wife to call the brewer. He's like, my only friend in the world is this guy. Call him and he'll help you. And then so he's like,
God.
yeah, he built even more money out of her. Just him for help. It's the craziest story.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have a pun based off Catch Me If You Can if you're going to do a murder.
Right.
Wow.
But,
The
yeah.
world of brewing gets even deadlier, I guess.
As far as I can tell, it's the first time it's been deadly since probably probably probably
Prohibition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Al Capone and shit.
Yeah. It's the first time it's been deadly since then. Like
You don't hear too many brew fucking murder stories at all.
No. But if this one becomes a Netflix story, I won't be surprised. It's so fucking wild.
It's insane.
Crude and brewed, man. I'm calling it now.
I like the name. I dig it. Well, Steve, this has been great, man. Tell people where they can find your show, where they can follow you guys.
Yeah, so we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you just have to search Hop Nation USA that way. And then go on any podcatcher like Spotify, Apple, Google, or anything that starts with pod or ends in cast.
There you
and
go.
just search Hop Nation USA, and we're on all those too.
Nice.
Awesome,
Super
man.
easy. Very, very awesome show. Very awesome guys that run it. And thanks again for, coming on our show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. And real quick before we get out of here, you can catch me on MWG Media, Matty G from HP on Xbox Live. And don't forget, call the Pain Hotline, 845-420-7246. Hey, let us know what kind of crazy brewery stories you have. Have you been involved in a brewery murder? I don't know. Maybe you have. Let us know. Leave us a
Confess
cool
on
story.
our hotline.
Yes, we
And
definitely
and
won't turn you
Follow
in.
me at Landers the Plane as well.
All right, people. Thank you so much for tuning in this long. And until next time, that's it.
There you go.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America. I'm second America. We talking America. We blazing America. This is fucking America. We're second America.
This has been American Slacker Podcast. You can reach the show by searching American Slacker on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit, or send them an email to americanslackerpodcast@gmail.com. You can download and rate American Slacker on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and all other podcast platforms. Visit the show's website, aspodcast.com, where you will find every episode, official merchandise, and links to their Patreon if you would like to support American Slacker.
We smoking America. We passing America. I'm mapping America.